Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My colleague, Dr. Ashley Singh, Senior Minister in the Office of the President, Your Excellency, Ambassador of the United States to Guyana, Representative of Bloomberg, Chairman of NDIA, Mr. Dean Hassan, who's played a very important role on this issue, Mr. Balgobin from the Ministry of Finance, staff from the NDIA. Good morning.
Morning.
And I'm very excited this morning here that we are now on the verge of reality. In a couple of minutes, what we have discussed over the last few months will become reality here today. And that is testimony to the government and the government commitment in improving the lives of our people in this country. That is testimony to the government commitment in making Guyana a food-secure country. What we are about to do this morning, we are about to sign an agreement with an international recognized company, a company that has lots of experience and have been doing work across the world. We are now bringing those expertise in Guyana to transform the development that started since 2020. And I am proud to be Minister of Agriculture, heading this sector under the leadership of His Excellency Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali. I am proud because, one, we have witnessed a few days ago or a few weeks ago, Guyana is one of the only countries in the world that has the ability to feed its citizens. And that is a tremendous achievement for us, because what we started out in 2020, when we saw a sector that was run down, a time when Guyana had lost its place in CARICOM, to today where Guyana is leading food security in CARICOM, where His Excellency is leading that sector, food security and agriculture, in the CARICOM quasi-cabinet. And not only in Guyana, but across the region, we have seen a renewed interest in agriculture and food security. And as Guyana is now developing its infrastructure in the country, we are also lending expertise and assistance to member states in CARICOM. Only yesterday we had the heads of government concluded its meeting in Jamaica, and we heard coming out of the communique that food security is one of the most important items on CARICOM's agenda moving forward. And the PPP civic government over the years have increased budgetary allocation from 2020, when I became Minister of Agriculture, from $13 billion to today $106 billion, leaving out the other direct investment like this, what we'll be executing here this morning.
Thank you, and I'll try to keep my remarks brief, but they echo what Minister Mustafa just said. First time I met this gentleman, he was very focused on investment in Guyana. And he is a great advocate for this country's emergence as the most food secure country in the world. But there's much to do here, and it's a pleasure for me to be back here since our first meeting. With me, by the way, is Jeff Speaks, who's tirelessly worked at making this happen, and he will continue to do so. My comments relate to the President Ali and Minister Mustafa, who made very clear what their goals were for Guyana. And I have to say, my business takes me to many countries around the world and visits with heads of state and ministers of agriculture. You have an excellent team here in Guyana. The President's vision, the Minister's implementation, the Minister of Finance's ability to help get things done, Lionel, who we've been working with, or my team have been working with, great deal of time, and he's provided us great information. But I want to talk about our company's goals here in Guyana. First step towards what we're doing is to reduce post-harvest loss. While it's a self-sufficient country, we can reduce post-harvest loss, which is the loss farmers sustain from their field to the market. It will only increase the exportable products in the agriculture sector. And we are focused on CARICOM and northern South America as we make our investments. that means more income to farmers. If there's a more marketable volume of agricultural goods, it's a better world for your farmers and our farmers. The president wants a food hub, and the minister has reinforced that, in Guyana to serve not just the country, but CARICOM and parts of South America. And we're prepared to join the minister and the president in that effort to create a major regional hub. My confidence in the president's vision for this country allows me to make announcements here today that I have not made publicly. We will invest. Not only will we do this project, and I hope others. There's been a discussion of rice and meat and poultry and so forth, and even a pork project. But the reality is we're prepared to invest in processing on our account of Guyana agricultural products. That means higher value to farmers, and it means an easier way to export. The president has challenged us with creating a brand that can be exported to the U.S., a very large market, North America, and we will do that. Secondly, as our work continues here, Minister, we will look to invest in a manufacturing plant. And you may say, an agriculture company manufacturing plant? Yes, because we don't just do food security. We do the full spectrum of the ag chain. And the manufacturing plant will be to produce the most advanced shade houses, not only for Guyana, but for export throughout CARICOM and even in South America. As our work grows, we want to designate Guyana as our hub, and that means our home in the Caribbean and in northern South America. So Guyana will be our home, a home for my company. We will designate it as a major hub. That means offices, it means employees, it means not just food security, but manufacturing and processing. And with that, I am very pleased to be here today to take the first step with the ministers.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And before I call on the ambassador, I also want to recognize the role she would have played to get this agreement out this morning. And the U.S. Embassy and we have been working very closely also, because the press is very eager to hear about our advancement with the discussion on the catfish issue.
Okay.
And we have been moving very, very aggressively. And I hope very shortly, the ambassador and I have been speaking regularly on this matter. And I hope very shortly we can have the ban lifted so that Guyana could once again export our product, especially catfish, to the United States. With that, I ask the ambassador to make her remarks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Minister. I am absolutely thrilled to be here today to witness this partnership, the first step in this incredibly important partnership between world-renowned U.S. company Bloomberg Grain and the visionary government of Guyana. I arrived here a year and 9 months ago, and one of the first things President Ali said to me was food security is a priority for me, and it's a priority for CARICOM, and this deal that's happening today is a major step towards achieving that. And it extends far beyond the CARICOM, even into parts of South America. I think this partnership has the potential to change lives throughout this region, and I'm so very proud that you chose to partner with a U.S. company to do that. I also want to recognize the incredible work of the U.S. Department of Commerce office here in Guyana at the Embassy, the Foreign Commercial Service, which was led by Daniel Gaines, who just recently departed, but amazing, amazing work done by Ms. Tacoma Alexis to bring this deal to fruition. So we are so proud to be a part of this, and we're just getting started. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Do you want me to mention catfish?
Yeah, you should go.
Happy to, happy to. I know this has been a very long-term negotiation. As you all know, the requirements for importing catfish into the United States and most seafoods became much more stringent quite a few years ago, and so Guyana had to re-qualify, if you will, as did the rest of the world. Guyana has taken every step we've asked of them. It's a long process. They will submit the responses to questions we have. We'll ask more questions. They'll submit more responses, but I can tell you that it's going very, very well. Guyana has been incredibly responsive. I am very, very hopeful, as is the minister, that we'll have this resolved soon and that it will be a positive response. And I am certainly pushing on my end to make that happen. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. And now I'll ask my colleague, Dr. Singh, to make some brief remarks, and then we'll go into the same. Dr. Singh.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Minister Mustafa, Ambassador, Mr. Bloomberg, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Let me first of all thank Minister Mustafa for inviting me to join him at this extremely important signing ceremony, and for, of course, hosting us so graciously as he always does. I want to mention very briefly just a few things. The first is food security, and without repeating all that has been said before, allow me simply to reinforce that while a lot that is known about Guyana globally today is in connection with the oil and gas industry, but our president has said from even before he assumed the presidency, he has said that we have as a principal economic objective the realization of a globally competitive non-oil economy. And one of the main pillars of that non-oil economy is, of course, agriculture. And so it is not an accident that agriculture has featured as prominently as it has in our government's policy agenda and in the identification of our government's economic priorities. And much has already been said about the absolutely remarkable work that President Ali is doing and that Minister Mustafa is doing in advancing the achievement of a rapidly growing and globally competitive agriculture sector and realizing Guyana's long recognized potential to be the food basket of the Caribbean, and also, very importantly, to serve as a bridge between a literal and symbolic, but more particularly a literal bridge between South America and the Caribbean, particularly as it relates to agricultural produce and food products. The food hub that is being established by work led by Minister Mustafa under President Ali's policy instructions, that food hub is a critical part of the realization of that objective of making Guyana this bridge between northern South America, in particular Brazil, but northern South America more broadly, and the Caribbean. And this project that Bloomberg Grains and Logistics is partnering with us on represents an integral part of the construction and deployment of this food hub. The second point that I want to make is value-added production and the application of science and technology in agriculture, but more broadly in our economy. We're living in a rapidly changing world where science and technology, the potential of science and technology to realize productivity gains and efficiency is increasingly being recognized and increasingly being realized. And for a long time, we have said that we would like to move our productive activity from being principally a producer of primary commodities to being a producer and exporter of value-added commodities. And for all of the reasons that Mr. Bloomberg outlined, this project represents an important deployment of science and technology in the agricultural production and supply chain to realize significant efficiency gains. Mr. Bloomberg spoke about reducing post-harvest loss and other efficiency gains that can be realized. And so increasingly, not only in agriculture, but in every sector in the economy, we're looking at opportunities where science and technology, where we can adopt a more scientific and technology-driven approach to production, and in particular to realize greater efficiencies and more value-added production. And finally, I want to emphasize partnership. And this represents not only an important partnership with Bloomberg Grains and Logistics, and I want to join Minister Mustafa in welcoming you, Mr. Bloomberg, you and your team, Mr. Speaks and others, welcome you to Guyana. We see this as really just the first step of what we anticipate will be a journey of growing, deepening, and widening partnership. We really do regard this as the first step, and we look forward to you expanding your footprint in Guyana and expanding your operations in Guyana. And I was delighted to hear you outline some of those plans, including your plan to make Guyana the regional hub for your operations, including for your productive operations. So thank you very much for that. And allow me to conclude by saying that this ceremony and this project represent an important, yet another valuable and important manifestation of the very strong partnership that we share with the government and people of the United States of America. And Ambassador, thank you very much for your effort and energy and interest in realizing tangible outcomes and results like this in advancing this partnership. As you know, this is a partnership that we place the highest level of importance on. We're happy that it is yielding, real results like the one that we're seeing today, and we look forward in the months and years ahead to deepening and widening that partnership. We are open for business. We welcome U.S. companies doing business investing in Guyana and doing business in Guyana and doing business with Guyanese companies and Guyanese counterparts. And we look forward to welcoming more U.S. companies doing business in Guyana and doing business with Guyana. So thank you very much, Ambassador. And thank you very much, Minister.
Thank you very much, Dr. Singh. And I think before I invite Mr. Innes, the CEO acting of NDIA, and Mr. Bloomberg to sign, also I want to say that when Dr. Singh mentioned about the revolution that is taking place in the agriculture sector, and we have seen now that we have moved away from that kind of labor-intensive forms of production to more modern and more scientific forms of production. We have a number of hydroponics now in the country. And Guyana is boasting a lot of achievement now. We have the largest hydroponic farm in the Caribbean right here in Guyana. And the president was talking not so long ago about insurance for farmers in Guyana, and many persons were saying how you could insure farmers because the weather pattern in this country and climate change is real. People would not want to take the risk. And I'm very happy to say on the 23rd of this month, we'll be signing an agreement with an insurance company to insure all 6,000 rice farmers in Guyana. That will be a monumental achievement for us in this part of the hemisphere. So with that, I invite Mr. Innes and Mr. Bloomberg to come here and sit and sign the agreement, please. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Excellent.
Thank you.
All right. So that's bring us to the end. Thank you all very much. And I think that this